Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Professor Azhar Alisha at the University of Sen. Welcome to my class of Artificial Intelligence, Week 9, Lecture 3. And today we'll be discussing Minimax algorithm for the implementation of adversarial search. Minimax, as the name tells, focuses on two goals. One is to minimize the loss, to secure and save the position of the player, and the other one is to maximize the gain, which is the score of the game being played by a particular player or agent. Now, Minimax algorithm for each player describes the strategic moves and then compares or ranks the performance of each player, and then at the end of the game, the player who gets maximum score is declared as successful or the winner. It is a very simple algorithm. So let's start with the presentation, and we'll be going through the steps. I will also show you the animation which exhibits the operation, how this algorithm actually operates, what are the different steps. So there are some pictures, there are some graphs. It works on the basis of a graph tree, and which consists of different nodes and edges. Nodes represent the decisions, and the edges represent the moves. So these are the various parameters which we will be discussing. So let's start with the presentation. Okay. So Minimax algorithm, the third lecture regarding the adversarial search in artificial intelligence. This picture shows the working mechanism. It illustrates the working mechanism, and on the left side you can see that this algorithm means the step-by-step solution, and it consists of a game tree. So game tree is a hierarchical representation of this model, and each node has two branches, and then this goes on expanding and expanding. So game tree is the basic structure, basic element of Minimax algorithm. It is discrete, it is sequential, and initially start, the time at which the game starts, and the state at which the game starts, and the successor function. It involves a successor function is a mathematical function which calculates the current value, current score, and sends it to the next move, to the next calculation. So every current state representation is done with the help of the successor function, and it provides feed to the next score, next move, next strategy, and then this goes on. So it's a recursively working mechanism, and the successor function providing the new value, going on, and finally, when the game is going to be terminated and it arrives at the terminal state, then there is another mathematical function which we call the utility function. Now, what utility function does, that it ranks or compares the performance, the scores, the parameters, the states of one player with other, and declares that particular player or agent having maximum performance, maximum score, best performance is declared as the winner. So utility function is the evaluation function. It evaluates and it ranks and it tells us the performance and makes the decision at the end that who is the winner of this game, whose performance is the best performance. So just like a judge in the adversarial system of justice. Okay, so now this is further extension of the graphical representation of Minimax algorithm. Here you see Rn means the root node at which the game starts, this is the initial state, and then L1, N1, this means the level 1 from the root, level 1, node 1, level 1, node 2 on the right side, and this is the minimizer level. The root level is the maximizer level, and then minimizer level, and then maximizer level, and then minimizer, and this go on recursively, continuously. So then on the left side you see L2 means level 2, node 1, then node 2, node 3, node 4. There are 4 nodes, and nodes are increasing. This is a binary expansion. It could become an exponential expansion. Node 3 up to node 8, and then node 16, and then 64, and going on. So this tree of the game would increase depending upon how many moves are there and who is finally going to terminate, when you are going to terminate or end the game. So next shows that this graph shows actually the nodes, initial root node, then level 1, then level 2, then level 3. Level 3 we say is a terminal state, terminal level, and then we assign these values, these scores to these nodes, and using the min-max, minimum and maximum goals, we can calculate the total score and declare who is the winner. So, for example, starting with the branches, with the nodes, it having the values of 4 and 3 at the left side. Now, the level or the evaluation function, the successor function, which is going to calculate the value from these two scores, 4 and 3. One node has the score of 4, other node has the score of 3. It means agent 1 or player 1 is the score of 4, and player 3 is the agent of the score of 3. So we would be taking out of this, we would be taking the maximum, who took the maximum score, and the maximum score is taken by the node 4. So 4 is selected, and then we move to the next branch, and from this 6, as you can see, is the maximum score. Now at this maximum level, at this level, 4 from 4 and 6, we have to select the minimum. Minimum means the one who gets the minimum score from 4 and 6, and that is 4. So 4 is selected at the minimum score, minimum level, and then we move to the next bunch of the nodes, and these values are 2 and 1, and maximum value is 2. So 2 is selected. 9 and 5, maximum value is 9. So 9 is selected, and then we have also third pair having the value of 3 and 1. The maximum value is 3. So now we have 3 nodes, and the maximum minimum of these values 9, 3, and 2 is 2, which is selected, and then this process goes on. From here you can see from 5 and 4, 5 is selected, 5 is the maximum value. From 7 and 5, 7 is selected, being the maximum value. And then from 5 and 7, 5 is selected, being the minimum value. And then from these 3, 4 to 5, maximum at the root is selected, which is 5. So this particular, you see, the player who scores this is finally declared as the winner, is the achiever of the best performance based score. So this is the operation, what goes behind the scene, how this mathematically or computationally this would be carried out. This is the pseudocode representation, which is the pseudocode representation of the algorithm for the minimax steps. There are three functions. The first function is minimax function, makes the decision and returns the value either minimum or maximum based on the values from the successor function. So successor function is the function which gives the previous state or the current state and gives it feedback to the next state, to the minimax decision making function. So the successor function is part of the minimax decision maker. It is part of the maximum value. It's part of the minimum value function. These are three functions, and successor function and utility function are the part of these functions. So next function, maximum value, which returns a utility value, that who won the maximum score, whose ranking, whose performance is better. So this is returned by the maximum value utility maximum value function with the utility value, and as you can see that it happens or it gets this value when it achieves the terminal state, when the game is finished or completed. Then it evaluates the maximum value and sends it back. And for this, it also evaluates the successor state, the current state, and returns the maximum value. So the terminal value as well as the successor value, maximum in both cases. So this will continuously or recursively go on. Similarly, minimum value, the function returns the minimum value, whether it is the end value or whether it is the successor value from the successor function. So successor function is part of all the functions, and the utility function is part of the terminal test or terminal state when the game ends. These are three functions: minimum, minimax decision maker function, maximum value, and minimum value getting functions. And all of these functions are making use of the other functions, which are the successor function and the utility function. So successor function, utility function, these are important mathematical functions which tell us the current state of the current move and the last move, and then minimax the decision maker makes the decision, makes the moves. So this is how the design of this algorithm is based on, and its implementation can be done in a variety of languages as per our expertise, and even the source code is available. So the students, being a student, we can practice it in different environments, in different languages, and to customize, modify, change parameters, play with it in order to understand its basic philosophy of operation. And this algorithm has some problem. Which problem? That is not so much efficient. If it's not efficient means it is inefficient. Why it is inefficient? Because its branch may grow or expand exponentially. Exponential search with B means branch and D means the depth. Depth means how many number of the levels are there. Now, if the levels would increase, the branch would increase, the tree size would increase, and it would make the system slow, inefficient. And as we will see in the next lecture, that there may be many leaves, there may be many branches which are useless. As for example, here in this case, we do not take care of these branches and leaves on the right side. So on the right side, you see, we just ignore. So these useless or redundant branches and nodes could be pruned, could be excluded with the help of the alpha beta pruning, which is an improvement in the minimax algorithm mechanism, and that we will be discussing in the next lecture, inshallah. So we just recap what we discussed today is the structure, organization, operation, and the pseudocode design of the Minimax algorithm for the implementation of universal search in the artificial intelligence. The questions we will be discussing and addressing in the online session or in the class face to face, as the case may be. And these are the resources available for this course. So thank you very much. This is just our starting, and I have just recorded three video lectures for the subject of artificial intelligence for week 9. And now, having this experience, I think we will be in a better position to record better and to make these video lectures more attractive, more informative, more interactive, and improve the quality so that our learning experience, our students could get much of the information anytime, anywhere. This is the beauty of the video lectures. You are not restricted, your learning is not restricted, your teaching is not restricted to the traditional class, but it is anytime, it is available on anytime, anywhere. Whether you are in the bus, whether you are at home, whether you are at office, wherever you are, your mobile with you, you are free, you can uh, 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 turn on the mobile, you can turn on the internet and start watching the videos instead of wasting your time on social media, the related websites. So the student can get maximum benefit of these video lectures. If you have any questions, any suggestions, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave the comments in the comments area. And inshallah, together we shall make this learning procedure and this learning practice more interesting, more fruitful. Thank you very much.